to check it out. But it got me thinking. I joke with Taylor all the time. I'll never get into the quarterback club. What do you guys play usher in the quarterback club? Do you wear like smoking jackets? Is it bottle service? I always have like a wise ass remark about what it must be like to be in the quarterback club. And then it got me thinking of when I worked in the NBA and my favorite not getting into a club story. So, and this is as told to me by Matt Carroll, okay? Former shooting guard, or small forward, we'll say, for the Charlotte Bobcats. Ultimately, he ended up with the Utah Jazz, I think, for a little while. The Mavs. He was a Maverick, too, before he retired. Obviously, a Notre Dame guy. He was mired in obscurity in the NBA at the time, D-League, when Bernie Bickerstaff and the Bobcats acquired his rights. And he was a good NBA player, like solid. Look at his numbers. I don't care if he was on a bad team. Matt had some really good moments, right? So this was not one of his best moments. The Bobcats at the time are in Miami, and they're playing the Heat. Now, this is probably around 2007, 2008. Again, this is as told to me by Matt Carroll. So if I may put this online, if Matt has any issues with this story, he is more than welcome to come on, and I'm sure he will. He's a great dude. But the Bobcats get destroyed by Miami. Now, Michael Jordan, owner of the team at the time, has a spot in Miami, spends a lot of time in Miami. At the time, he had, I think he had met the woman who is now his wife, and I think she lived in Miami. So there's a lot of time being spent by MJ in Miami. So, of course, when his team goes and plays the Heat, he's going to be there, right? And Michael is kind of like, he's just so dialed in. He's got eyes and ears everywhere. He's a special off the court as he is on it, with all these unique qualities he has, right, that separate him from the rest of the human race. And after the Bobcats get throttled by Miami, they're in town for an extra night, and they go to the club, right? They're going to the club. So this is Emeka Okafor, Sean May, Raymond Felton, Gerald Wallace. They're at this big club in Miami, and I forget exactly what the name of the club was. But Matt Carroll is told by Emeka Okafor, Emeka's in there, he has bottle service, and he's got this great table. And he's like, Matt, come on in. Like, tell him you're with me. Well, Matt's outside, and the guys that are running the club or the security, they're like, dude, you're not getting in here, buddy. Sorry. Like, we don't believe you're who you say you are. A lot of miscommunication, right? So Matt's outside the club for literally like an hour, okay? And eventually he just bags it, okay? While his teammates, some of whom are coming in around him, right? Like Sean May is going in because they're like, okay, you're Sean May. Like, we know who you are. Your team just won a national championship. Obviously, we know who Emeka Okafor is. Your team won a national championship a few years ago. You were the second pick in the draft. Matt Carroll, we don't know who you are, and we don't believe you, right? And I guess Matt couldn't show him a basketball card or an in-action picture back then. Again, this is like 2007. So story ends, whatever. Carroll's disappointed. I'm pretty sure he went home without getting in the club at all. So the next day, MJ calls a team meeting, and everybody is like surprised. And for lack of transparency, it was either a meeting that was already being held, or it was a meeting that Michael had called. Now, at this point, Sam Vincent, God bless him, was the coach of the Bobcats. Sam was one and done, right? And Sam didn't have a ton of control over the team. I can remember he complained about fast food that the guys were eating after a particular game. And I know the players didn't like that. It was one of those seasons. And I actually was with the Sixers at this time, right? So all this is happening. I'd already left because I had worked in public relations in Charlotte for a while. So MJ comes in at like the tail end of this meeting, and he is, taking everybody's inventory, coming down on these guys like, Sean May, you play soft. You don't want it bad. Emeka Okafor, you're like a bump on a fucking log. Pardon my language. I don't like to swear. I shouldn't have said that, but I'm repeating a story. So you get the idea. And he says, I know you guys, you get your asses kicked and you all go to the club. Emeka's in there in the club with bottle service. Sean May's in there in the club with bottle service and girls. Nobody cares about basketball. And then he points at Matt Carroll. This is Michael Jordan now. And Matt Carroll's like, Michael has like never spoken to me. And he looks at Matt Carroll and he goes, Matt Carroll, you can't even get into the club. Like, what are you even doing here in the NBA? You can't get into the club so I can yell at you like I'm yelling at these guys. And Matt was like, his world was kind of like, oh gosh. And that's every time I think of not being able to be a member of the quarterback club, I always think about poor Matt Carroll, just kind of hanging out outside the club, not being able to get in, right? The guy's giving his all. He's actually playing pretty well. And then he's disappointed. He goes home. And then the next day, everybody's taken to task. And that story about how he couldn't get into the club is recanted by the greatest basketball player of all time. By the way, the guy who owns the team. I heard